Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. In this video I'll be taking you guys through the paintwork on this Mazda 3 painted in sky blue metallic. Paint code for this is 41B. So before they had 41V, the Sol Red, they had this one, 41B. A really nice blue. You get this out in the sun and you can really see that metallic pops real nice and bright colour. Yeah, so hang around right up to the end, you'll get to see this colour out in the sun. Real nice colour. So as you can see here, the prep work's already been done. I'm then wiping it down with these lint-free cloths with a bit of wax and grease remover. I've left some of this prep work here at 1.5 times speed. Also, I will slow right down once we start painting. So next up here, you're seeing me use a anti-static degreasing cloth here. DuPont Sontara was the brand I'm using on this one. They're a good cleaning cloth. They leave you with a static-free plastic part once it's been wiped down. So for this bumper bar, I'm going to leave out most of the footage for it. However, I'm going to include the ground coat and the plastic primer stage just to change it up a bit, just for something different. But I will show you the effect coat on it at the end. So I'll show you the effect coat of base coat and I'll show you the last coat of clear coat too. So for this job, the colour ended up being a little bit out. It's pretty common. Anyone who's used the Standox range in blues, they will know that a lot of the time the blues come out a lot different than the car. So I had to colour match it for a fair bit. So what I ended up doing is I just tipped out some of the colour that was totally wrong and matched the rest of it. And then what I did is I used that for a ground coat. So I put that down first to get some better coverage. And that's what you see me using here to start off with, just for this first coat. Get a nice wet coat on just to cover up those primed patches. Now recently I've had a couple of guys make a couple of comments on my videos saying, oh, why don't you just use a tintable primer? And there is reasons why. Because at this workshop we will prime anywhere from 5 to 10 cars overnight. There's no use in mixing up 5 to 10 different primers just for the sake of using a shaded or tintable primer. And also all it takes is one little cut through next to that primer, and then you still got to get coverage on that cut through compared to the primer anyway. And also that bumper bar, no one's going to 2-pack prime that bumper bar just to use a value shade type primer. It just doesn't make sense to do it that way. Everything you see me do, I do for a reason. So yeah, it does work out easier just to use a ground coat sometimes, using up paint that would most likely otherwise be getting wasted anyway. If you go around and you have a look on the bench, some of the more recent colours, put them aside from your last jobs, you can throw them all together and just make some common colours, just like the reds, blues, and the ones that don't cover well, stuff like that, and you can just use them for a ground coat. Say for this bumper bar, it worked out perfect, you know. Get most of your coverage and then you only use a few coats of your top coat colour, so you're saving on paint. Since making this video, I've actually gone out and got my own workshop now, and I probably even save more paint than what I used to. I used to think I was pretty good at material usage, but I'll tell you what, as soon as you get out on your own and you're spending your own money, you probably save materials a little bit more. Like I reuse the plastic pots probably about 5 to 10 times and just wipe them out with a rag, and I can reuse that for primer again, even clear coat, as long as it's clean enough though, so that you're not getting big chunks of stuff coming through your gun. Obviously you filter it, and you run gun filters as well, and you know, there's all little stuff like that can save you money. It's always something to be conscious of. And I've always looked at being a spray painter, the more I can save the boss, the more I can turn around and say, when I want a pay rise, they're more likely to give it to me. That's the way I've always looked at it. Some people just go in, do the least they can, and spend as much, well, I'm not paying for it. If that's your attitude, you're probably not going to go very far in this trade. You'll probably just be just one of those guys that never earns half decent money and, you know, never takes any pride in their work. Whereas I take pride in my work, and I like to earn good money as well. Like, yeah, I think if I can work a little bit harder, and I find it makes the day go quicker too. If you smash out 3 or 4 jobs in a day, I find the day goes quicker and you're more job satisfaction out of it. So anyway, so here we go. This is my first coat of base. As I was saying, it's that slightly different colour that I'd put aside, and it's pretty good. Like, it's not too bad. It's good enough for initial coverage, and it's going to make that top coat colour just cover a lot nicer. And as I say, especially over that bumper bar, which is black, you know. I see some guys, they paint bumper bars and they're like, oh yeah, the colour matched fine. Like, I checked the colour, and then they get the bumper bar on the car and it's just bleeding through, showing through still from the black. So doing stuff like this can help eliminate yeah, having some coverage issues. That's what I usually like to do over the black bumper bars, and especially on these. If I was painting black over that black, no, of course I wouldn't even waste my time putting a ground coat in the gun. But yeah, for a job like this, absolutely. So one thing to be careful of when you are using ground coats and stuff like that on jobs like this, you just got to be careful that you don't get the overspray from this on a blend or something like that. And now I've moved into my own workshop, I'm actually using more wet on wet primers and stuff like that. Another thing I try to tell people a lot, I've been trying to get this message along a lot, is that in this trade you have to be adaptable. I just found in this workshop that you see me working in here, every time I tried to use wet on wet primers, it just made problems for me. This workshop here, they used silicone cleaning products. There's nothing I could do to tell them. They would not stop. I'm just like pulling my hair out. You can't do it, you can't do it. You're making more problems. You're costing this joint so much money. The foreman just wouldn't listen to me. The boss just seemed to think that it wasn't where the silicone problems were coming from, them using silicone cleaners. I mean, I just had to do what I had to do to work around it. All in all, it was quite a good place to work, so I stayed, obviously, until I got my own workshop. But you've just got to be adaptable to the environment that you're working in. So every time I used to use wet on wet primer, it would silicone up, and then, as I say, I like to get as many cars painted in a day as I can, and they look to me when at the end of the week there's not as many cars painted as what there should be. I like to make the workflow flow nicely, so I just found you're better off using a ground coat than a shaded or tinted etch primer or wet on wet primer or something like that. So and also you have to be careful of that overspray on other panels. So if I was just to go and put some wet on wet primer on that quarter panel and that door section, then that overspray could come over and hit this bumper bar because of the direction of the airflow in this booth, and that overspray will turn into little chunks of dust and then make another issue. So there is a lot of things to think about in this trade to get top quality results consistently. So as you see here, I'm tack ragging that. Usually I wouldn't bother about tack ragging if that was 100% the correct colour. If that was my match colour and I wasn't using that ground coat, I wouldn't have been tack ragging here. But as I say, because it's slightly different colour, any of that overspray on the blend, you may see it later on. So this, you can see here, it's much nicer, this colour. So it's a lot deeper blue. That one underneath is sort of a bit greener, a bit yellower too. So you can see it's starting to go on a lot nicer straight away, and you've got basic visual coverage straight away with your first coat, rather than having to put 2-3 coats on before you got coverage. So you can see why I did what I did just there. And just going over just a little bit further over where I put the ground coat for this first coat. No need to start doing your blends yet, because you don't want to overload your colour. Another key thing for blending, I found, I was even just saying it to my partner the other day, I was just saying the key to getting a good blend is just actually having the colour right in the first place. Spend an extra half an hour colour matching and your blend will be a walk in the park, because you're not say blending black into white, you're always going to be able to see the blend, aren't you? So if you get that colour right first, you won't have too many problems at all blending. So as you can see, this is my second coat now. As I say before, I skipped most of the footage out of that bumper bar just to stop the vid from getting too long. It already got over about 21, 22 minutes already. So although I do have some guys that tell me they love the longer vids, that's why I continue to make some of these longer videos. I can include more info for you guys, and some people just love watching them. Always, as I say, give me your feedback. If you like them, if you don't like them, whack it in a comment. Another thing I have been mentioning lately is to don't even bother sending me a private message, because just at the point I'm just about gonna stop answering them, unless you want to buy a Gunman shirt off me or something like that. Unless there's a reason for you to send me a private message, I don't have time to answer everyone. I've got my own life as well. I've got a business to run. Yeah, I still try to answer questions in the form of a comment. Absolutely, go for it. I'll do my best to answer. But if it's a private comment, a private question, you're the only one that's going to learn. I don't have time. I'm not even going to waste my time. So when you see me here, that's wet bed blending clear. A lot of people get really confused about what I'm actually using here. I'm using Standox 599 Basecoat stabilizer. All it is, it's just like any coat of base coat. You know that blue that you see me putting down? It's just like that, but it's got no color to it. That's all it is. Every single paint system has one. I used to use Glazerite for years, and it was MO was the tinter on the tinting machine. That was in the 55 line Solvent range, and they also had one called Blending Clear in a can. They had 55 B500 it was called, and it was named Blending Clear. That's why I call this Blending Clear. I've just grown up with the Glazerite range, so I just refer to it as Blending Clear. So if you type that into a Google search, you'll find the Glazerite one, 55 B500. The 90 line's got its own one. It's still called Blending Clear. Yeah, I'm sorry if that confuses people. I've decided I'm actually going to stand up next to my paint system and just actually show people what it is. So yeah, sorry about the confusion. Hopefully that's cleared a few questions up about what that Blending Clear I'm using there is. I think in the water-based range it's more referred to as a wet bed. So all it does is it fills in those sanding scratches from where you've obviously sanded your panel down. It fills them in so that the metallic's not going to land inside the scratches. It's going to land in the base coat blenders that's filled up those scratches. So you're not going to see the blend as much. It's going to help aid the blend. So as I said, I'll just put this, just to show you guys the effect coat, just this last coat that I'm putting over this bumper bar. If you hang around to the very end, you'll be able to see how the colour does actually match really well. I was really happy with the final colour match on this bumper bar, which did go edge to edge up over to the passenger side quarter panel. So next up we'll be putting our clear coat on. I'll be using the DeVilbiss GTI Pro Lite with the TE20. I'll just give you guys a quick run through the settings that I used on this gun, and this was using the GTI Pro T2 cap. So have that fan wound right open. Have your pressure set from say 20-25 psi. Just when it feels right, you'll know. Like if you know what the result that you want to get, you'll know when you see it. You know, if it's dropping on with these big droplets and it's just looking very orange peeling, put the pressure up. If it's starting to spray too fine in the middle and you're getting big spots at the top and the bottom and nothing coming out from the center, well then drop the pressure down. You should be able to sort of paint by feel and learn to adapt to the way the gun's spraying. Yep, so have that fluid. I like to have the fluid wound right out and just adjust the way you paint. That I feel I'm fine for base coat, that works fine just about all the time. However, for clear coat I like to wind that fluid needle in a bit and just have the fan wound right open on the GTI Pro and the Pro Lite for both clear and base coat. And yeah, same thing with the pressure on the clear coat, just adjust it to feel, but I found it's around the same from sort of 20 to 25 psi. Don't forget that the ambient temperature of the day is actually going to change the pressures on your gun regulators. So all these pressure settings I tell you is on the gun regulator, so the pressure does drop by the time it gets to the air cap, but I never measure. I mean, at trade school I think they had a gauge that you can put onto your cap, but I don't really, in theory, in practice, no one ever actually uses it, I've found anyway. So you'll notice here on my first coat of clear, I'm not coming right up to that front edge of the door. That's just for the first coat. Obviously you want to cover it over on your second coat. I did the same thing with my blending clear, but I was explaining to you guys what that was before. So all I'm going to end up with on that front edge of the door to the fender is just a one coat of clear. That's going to help with colour difference later on. I found if you put the blending clear, 2 coats of clear as well, you'll end up deepening the amount of depth of clear there, and that is enough to change the colour. So if you hang around for another few minutes, you'll be able to see when it's in the direct sunlight and when it's in the shade as well. You'll be able to see that there's basically no colour difference whatsoever, and I didn't in fact have to paint the whole side. A lot of these insurance companies, they don't allow to paint full sides and stuff like that. Yep, if it was my choice, a car like this, I probably just about would paint the whole side and nearly even blend the other quarter panel for the colour on the bumper bar. But yeah, you've just got to do what you've got to do. It's a tough game out there to make $1, and yeah, it's just sort of what we've got to do. So that's I gave you a quick look there, just at that front edge, just how I left that clear, just the touch off. Yeah, also, when you're painting these Mazdas, they've got an extremely thin orange peel on them. So I've found to replicate that, you're better off having the pressure a touch higher. So maybe, yeah, jump even a touch above 25 psi. As I say before, just monitor it and look how it's going on. Yeah, so if you're going for, say, more European finish, you might want to go down a little bit with the pressure, say BMWs, Mercedes, those kind of cars. But yeah, sort of on these Mazdas and Japanese cars, I found thinner clear and a little bit higher pressure is going to replicate that finish better anyway. For me personally, I find probably some of the best finishes, even just the good old Toyotas and the Holdens, which is General Motors, and even some of the Fords. I've found they've got some of the best finishes on them, as far as off-the-gun factory finish for the 2-pack clears. Yeah, I found some of the American cars are quite good. However, the Chryslers, the Jeeps and stuff like that, they're actually pretty bad. They're very orange peely. Yeah, I wouldn't really be too happy with that for a finished product on my own car. Yeah, whereas a lot of the, yeah, just the locally made Aussie cars and that have actually got quite nice orange peels on them. So yeah, just nice high pressure, move as quick as you obviously need to. Just watch your paint going on, and you know, if you need to move a little bit slower, you know, slow down. If you need to go a bit quicker, speed up a bit. I've never really sort of measured the overlap. I just do it by feel, as I say before. I think I might even make a video where I can actually measure exactly where the head of my gun is, exactly where my fan overlaps, so I can give you guys that kind of info. But it's just something that I've always done by feel. So if you guys would like to see a video like that, more involved with overlaps and stuff like that, which is something I don't usually include, yeah, shoot a comment down below. Let me know. Let me know you guys want to see that. If you'd like to see sort of a Ballaria versus this GTI Pro Lite, you know, if you'd like to see more gun comparisons, more so than gun reviews, let me know. Shoot them in the comments below. As I say, a lot of guys do like these longer videos, so I'm sorry if I bore you, but obviously if you're still watching, you can't be too bored. You enjoy the info that I include in these videos. Yeah, always feel free to comment. I've got a pretty good following so far. It's great. This is my life. I love making these videos for you guys, and it's just great that I can share my passion for spray painting with the world. I've grown quite big I've only just ticked over to my 2nd year of making videos. So I first uploaded February 6, 2014, and it's February now, so 2015, so 1 year, nearly 6,000 subscribers, nearly had 1 million views, and without you guys it wouldn't be anything. Probably would have given up a long time ago if you guys didn't continue watching, giving me good comments, and obviously that good old thumbs up. So here we go, finishing this job off. Yeah, we've got have a good look over the orange peel for you guys, and have a look at the finish, which is really nice. No runs or anything. Quite happy with it. Not too much dust. Yeah, you're going to get a bit of dust here and there. That's just spray painting. I've actually found now that I mentioned before I'm in my own workshop, I get probably less dust in my own spray booth than what I do in these full downdraft booths. I've just found a system and a way to get my booth running really nice and clean. It's a bit of a different setup than these booths. It's got a complete concrete floor, and the draft runs to the back of the booth, and it's semi-downdraft, so it doesn't have the full downdraft on it. It's just one section of the front of the roof has the downdraft, and then it runs down to the other end of the booth. So I've just put this Pro cabin, this sticky surface on the walls. I've then wet the floor down, and I've found doing that with a good tack rag ends up with really nice finishes. So been doing less polishing than what they do at this workshop, so it's always good. Any spray painter will just about tell you that they hate cut polishing. It's the worst part of our trade, and it's all good doing the colour matching, the painting, and painting's the fun part. I like masking personally. I do like doing the masking stage. But there you go. This is why I love it when you get a finish like that. That's it's why I wake up every morning looking forward to go to work. Hang around here. We've got the car in the sun, still off the gun here, and after that we've got it when it's all polished up. So this is straight out of the booth, straight in the sun there, yet to be clean, but you can see there's very little colour change from panel to panel. Might be just a slight amount just of depth from the clear coat, but there's not much more you can do short of painting the entire side. But definitely a sellable product right there. Make sure you hang around to the end. I've got a couple of gun reviews. I've got a should I buy a cheap spray gun review there, and also Mazda versus DeVilbiss versus iWater review and demo. Make sure you check them out. I've got the Facebook link to my Facebook page in the description of my videos. Check out my channel as well. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production.